Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you guys are having a great Tuesday. And we got a couple things to talk about. Obviously, Bitcoin was down today along with the miners themselves for the most part. We'll take a look at that quickly here in the beginning. Then we'll get into Iris Energy and Riot. They provided their production updates for October. There's some good news here for, well, Riot more so than theirs for obviously Iris Energy. But we'll take a look at both of them nonetheless. And then I was going to do the video on the miners for Q3 metrics and seeing where they all landed as far as being top dog or, last at the end. But I'm recording this kind of late, so I'm going to do that tomorrow. That way we'll have a little bit more time to discuss it in more detail, I think. Okay. But as always, you guys know the drill here. This is not financial advice for entertainment only. Please do your own research and invest in following coins and companies for full disclosure. And if you enjoy this type of content, hit the like button, subscribe, helps me out tremendously. And thank you so much for coming in to watch this video. I greatly do appreciate it. So let's take a look at Bitcoin and the miners here really quick, and then we'll get into the other stuff here as well. So Bitcoin was obviously down just a little bit today. It wasn't down too much. The miners were down a little bit more than obviously Bitcoin, being a leverage play against Bitcoin. Bitcoin was down 0.73%. It closed at 43,764. So we're down below the 44,000 mark, which obviously we broke through yesterday, which isn't a problem here. We'll see where things end up going. But right now, Bitcoin is up a little bit here on the new day. It's up 0.47%. And we are at 43,168, pretty close to obviously the 44,000 mark. We did reach 45,000 yesterday. So this might be just a little bit of a breather that we're having here with Bitcoin. We'll see where it goes forward here as well. And then obviously here you can see on the miners here, miners were down for the most part with a couple exceptions, with Core being up 4%. What else do we have here that was kind of quite down quite a bit? DigiHost was down 8%. DMG was down also 8%. You got Greenidge was down 6%. Mawson was down quite a bit, 18% on the day. Stronghold was down also 12%. Soluna was down 9%. Some of the ones that were kind of going quite up nicely here. Then we got the ETFs were down today as well. WGMI, BITQ as well, down about 1% and change. So it wasn't too bad of a day overall as far as how the Bitcoin has come down. The miners didn't do as bad as we would think they would have done with Bitcoin coming down a little bit here, but it wasn't a bad day, I guess. It was a day that we needed. I think, we've had so many days here in the green going up. We needed a little bit of a breather. We may continue to get a little bit more of a breather going forward, just to kind of let things cool off a little bit before we possibly start our next rally here going with Bitcoin as we get closer to the spot Bitcoin ETF approval, which might come around January, I think it's 10th, something like that. That's kind of where everybody's kind of betting their bets on right now, at least, okay? So that's it for that one. Let me know what you guys think of this, obviously, and let's get into our two miners updates here that we do have, and we'll call it a day, so it should be a pretty quick video. And as always, the chapters are going to be down below for you guys to skip to the ones that you want to see here. And I got to blow my nose here really quick, so I apologize for that. Okay, so I still have whatever this is. I don't know if it's a flu beginning. I think my son has starting to get strep throat, so I hope it's not that. But we'll carry on as long as I can, as long as I'm able to do this. We'll do this on a daily basis, unless there's really no news for you guys. But here's what we have on Iris Energy here. So Iris Energy announces monthly investor update for November 2023. They always provide a lot of great information here, so that's kind of expected here. But here's what we do have. Average operating hash rate, 5.5 exahash. I think I'm a little bit higher than that. And that's why I don't like average operating hash rate, because we can't really calculate how many days we're actually operating for the month. So I really want to know what's the installed hash rate, not the average. And this goes for them and for others that are also providing the average. I think TeraWolf is another one that does it as well. Bitcoin mined here, 369 for the month. And then their electricity cost per Bitcoin was at 15,524. And we're seeing that obviously increase with other miners as well. As the network hash rate increases, that's going to increase the cost to mine Bitcoin as well. Going down here, they have a new 1,400 megawatt data center development site in West Texas. They're expecting it to be done sometime in 2026. So we're still basically 2 years out, late 2026. So basically almost 3 years out from this point in time. So that will get them, let's see, we'll have a halving event here in April of next year. That's 2024. The next halving event will be in 2028. Probably maybe February or March, probably time frame. 28, so that'll be about 2 years. So we'll be kind of in the middle of the bear market if we have the cycles repeat themselves again this time around. So they'll be kind of building out in the bear market, getting into the bull run of 2028 potentially. Okay, let's see if there's anything else here. I think that was it. Yep, so that was down here. So we do have something else. Okay, so Iris Energy provided a project development update following the signing of a connection agreement and payment of initial connection deposit in relation to a new 1,400 megawatt data center development site in West Texas to target various data center computing applications. Land for the project is secured under exclusive purchase options, and the in-service date for the utility connection is expected late 2026. The project supports the company's core strategy to secure high electricity capacity sites in areas with access renewable generation. So that's all good there. And obviously, this is a good roadmap for them into the future here. In addition, the company's now 2,160 megawatt of announced power capacity development works also continue across additional sites in Canada, the US, and Asia Pacific, which have the potential to support up to an additional greater than 1,000 megawatts of aggregate capacity. So that could get them to what, over 3 megawatts, I guess? My math is right on this. So that's definitely going to put them in line with kind of where even maybe a little bit higher than Riot and Marathon is on all this. But those guys are still growing. They got a lot of things going on as well. So we'll keep an eye on all these guys, see where they stack up. But this is definitely a good news going forward. But it's going to take a while to get there. Okay, let's take a look at the numbers that I do have for them. And here's Iris Energy. The price, I have not updated the price from yesterday, so this is still the old price on the stock. But we're pretty close to that. Iris Energy was only down a little bit here today, I think. If we look at the numbers here, Iris, where are they? They are right there. They were down 2.8%, so down 16 cents. Not too far from where we have them right now. So market cap is around 370 million right now. Roughly probably around 365, maybe 360 million, something like that. And the performance over the last 12 weeks has been pretty good here. You can see they were up 24% from 12 weeks ago, 83% from 8 weeks ago, and then also 88% from 4 weeks ago. And then last week they were up 57%. So they've had a pretty nice run up here in the last 12 weeks, which is nice to see. Current hash rate 5.7, future hash rate 8.4. They are working to get to 10 exahash before the halving event. They have not provided any information as far as miners that they're buying to get to that point, but I'm sure that they will get to that point here in the next month or two, possibly. Okay, now as far as the BTC production here, it did peak in May of this year, and they got 508 at that point. That was obviously helped with the transaction fees from Bitcoin itself and the network. But ever since then, it has been coming down, and we can take a look at their hash rate, which is right here. It has been pretty flat. They have been increasing a little bit here, but it's been 5.5, 5.5, almost 5.6. Now they're at 5.7, so slight increases in the network, in their hash rate. But the network hash rate has been growing much faster than that. And that's why you're seeing the continued decreases here as well through the rest of the year, pretty much. Okay, HODL, they don't have any HODL. They sell everything that they mine, so that's not a big deal there. We know that that's their mode of operandi. You can see the month-over-month difference in the BTC that they mine. BTC HODL, obviously, BTC per exahash efficiency. Pretty good here. It's up to 64.73. It's not actually up. It's just where it's at. It has been coming down, but like I've said before, the network hash rate has been increasing for Bitcoin. That's obviously justified here. That's kind of where we expected to see some of the more efficient miners to be in the 60s somewhere. Okay, BTC sold, they sell everything like we've said. We've talked about the hash rate here already. Bitcoin revenue value, this is their second best month here, 13.49 million in revenue. Compared to May, obviously was 13.97, so that was their best month there. Hash rate difference month over month, BTC sold value. And then when we come down here, institutions and analyst ratings, institutions did increase here a little bit to 69 to 17 million shares roughly. And that increased their percentage owned by institutions to 26.62, just slightly from the 26.37 that they had prior. Now, we did have a little change here in the analyst ratings. So in the prior month, we had 2 strong buy ratings. Now we only have 1, but we do have more buy ratings. We have 7 buy ratings for them, 0 hold ratings, 0 underperform, 0 sell. Price target still stayed the same at 14. For the high, average went up a little bit here to 9.57, and so did the low to $8 right now. So that's good news there. Going to look at their mining machines here, what we had in October, November. So like I said, I have them at 5.7 exahash based on what I think what they reported as having installed installed miners. So their average came down to 50, they said 50 something. So I actually have them at 30 days running operating here, and I had to include, what is it, approximately 1.2 million in Bitcoin network transaction fees to get them to the 13.489 million in revenue. So that obviously helped out things. Had they maybe installed more miners, things like that, that could have obviously gone up. But nonetheless, it's great to see that the miners are getting more transaction fees from the Bitcoin network as well. So that's definitely helping them out. Okay, so that's kind of what we got them at. So they were operating pretty much full bore for the month here, it looks like. Based on all of this, now, I could say, looking back the last 12 months, the last 3 quarters, plus the current quarter that we're in right now, we're looking at possibly between $13.21 and $19.82 for them. They're at $5.56, or a little bit less than that, $5.40 right now. I think that they're still definitely way undervalued from where they should be, I think. Given to where they're growing and how they're growing and everything else. If we look forward to the next 12 months, the 4 months before the halving event and the 8 months after the halving event at 50%, we are looking at $12.13 to $18.28. Obviously, if Bitcoin goes up in value, this is going to change as well, okay? So this is just a kind of rough spot where I think they should be valued. In my opinion, definitely undervalued right now. And I think one of the reasons, I'm just guessing here, but I think one of the reasons was last year they had to return a bunch of miners, right? Maybe that soured some investors because of that. But other than that, they're doing all the right things. They're growing. We could possibly even increase their PE from 15 to maybe 20 because they are looking to grow and they do have a roadmap to get even more into the future here. So all good things so far for them. Obviously, there was some bad news last week where the 2 founders sold a million apiece of shares. So that didn't go over well, I think, with investors as well. And the stock kind of didn't do well after that. A little bit. Okay, but that's it for Iris Energy. Let me know what you guys think of them. Let me know what you guys, if you guys are invested in them. I am invested in them, as you guys know. I've started to take a position in them recently here in the last couple of weeks, and I'm waiting for a little bit of a dip to buy more into them. I think I bought in at like $3 and something earlier on, so I'm trying to get in a little bit better price point at that point. Okay, but that's it for that one. Let's take a look at Riot here really quick. So Riot announces in November 2023 production and operation update. Here's what we do have from them. Bitcoin mined was 552, so that was a nice increase from October numbers. Bitcoin held increased a little bit here to 7,358 from the 7,345 they had in October. Bitcoin sold, they sold about 100 more than they did in October. So they sold 540, sorry. And then deployed hash rate did increase, which is nice. It looks like their immersion cooling facilities are starting to finally come back online after the storm that they had in December of last year. That knocked them out for a long time. But they have been slowly getting those back online here, so that's good there. So they're at 12.4 right now, which is a good increase from this 11.7 that they had the month prior to that. Let me see if there's anything else. I think there might be. Nope, there isn't anything else. That's it. You guys can read all the stuff down here. Obviously, they made a huge purchase on miners here recently. We talked about that in previous videos. You can check those out if you want. But they're definitely looking to grow quite tremendously, and they've kind of put the line in the sand as far as where miners are going to be growing. They have a path to get to possibly 100 exahash in the next couple of years. When I say the next couple of years, I'm saying maybe in the next 3 to 5 years or something like that, based on the products that we're seeing here right now. Okay, so that's it for that. Let's take a look at my numbers here, and we'll call it a day. So Riot is over here. There we go. So Riot has 206 million shares outstanding. Stock price is at $15 and some change, possibly, based on what we saw down here. It's at $14.76, so it's down a little bit, 38 cents from where I have it from yesterday. So market cap is still going to be above $3 billion right now. They've had pretty good really good performance here in the last 12 weeks. They're up 27% from 12 weeks ago, up 50% from 8 weeks ago, up 32% from 4 weeks ago, and then last week they were up 14.56%. So really good run here in the last 12 weeks. For them. They do have a HODL of 7,358. That's valued at about $300 million right now. Obviously, if Bitcoin goes up in value, that's going to be worth more. Current hash rate 12.4, future hash rate 38.4, right? So huge growth here for them in the next 2 years, I'm guessing 2 to 3 years, something like that, based on the delivery schedules that they have provided for us for those. One good thing is that the BTC production has been increasing here. Right, typically their summer months are usually the months where they curtail the most because of the Texas heat. So energy is used elsewhere for residential businesses, things like that. So that's when they curtail the most. And then usually towards the fall and wintertime and spring is where they curtail the least. So that's kind of where you're seeing an increase in hash rate or Bitcoin produced as well. So that's obviously helping them out there. And you can see the month over month difference here on the Bitcoin production. BTC HODL has been increasing here, which is nice to see as well. BTC per exahash efficiency, still 44.52, so that's below where I would expect them to be fully installed and operating full time. They should be above 60. They're at 44, so they did curtail still here in the month of November. BTC sold, you can see how much they've been selling each month. Hash rate has obviously been kind of flat here for pretty much most of the year. They had slight increases here in March to get to 10.5. They were at 9.8, 9.7. Then they got to 10.7 here in June, July, August, and September. And now they're back up to 11.7 and now 12.4. So we're seeing a little bit more of an increase here in the last couple months, which is good to see there. Revenue-wise, revenue is also interesting here because they do get power credits. And those basically just make them more profitable on the production side of things for Bitcoin. But revenue, obviously, their best month here that they've had pretty much in the last 12, 13 months. That's at 20.18 million right now. And that is their best month revenue for a monthly revenue side of things. Hash rate difference, you can see that month over month. BTC sold value, they sold about 19.7 million this month. That is the most they've sold here this year, it looks like. The least they've sold was back in November of last year, 7.9 million. And then going down here, analyst ratings and institutions. Institutions actually went down here to 357 from 361, but shares increased to 83,540,000 from 72,940,000, so that's good there. Institutions now own 40.5%, and we do have one increase here in the strong buy rating to 4. Buy rating stayed the same at 7. We still have 0 hold, and then we have 1 underperform rating as we did before, and 0 sells. Price target stayed the same for the high, $22, average at $16.18. That actually went down from prior month. And then the low stayed the same at $7.50 here. So that was good there. Going down here to the miners side of things, we can see here in November, based on, we know that the miners got extra Bitcoins for the network hash rate fees, transaction fees. And even with those, they came out to be mining 22.7 days on the month based on having 12.4 exahash installed. So they definitely still curtailed quite a bit here for the month of November. Without the transaction fees, they probably would have been at like maybe 21 days, 20 days, somewhere around there. It's hard to figure that out. Excuse me. Okay. So that's kind of what we're looking at them for there. And let's take a look at the numbers that I have for them and whether they're overvalued or overvalued. And right now, I have them between $8.83, but that's always backwards looking. And with the revenue increasing here in the last couple months, that's always going to be helpful going forward. And then for the high, I have them at $13.24. They're currently at $15.14, but with the amount of credits that they received back in, I think it was August, like 30-some odd million, they could pretty much mine for like a month or two for free pretty much with the credits. I don't know how those credits get applied, when they get applied. They don't provide that. So it would be nice to see if, they said, hey, in the month of November, we applied $3 million worth of credits against our Bitcoin electricity fees, and basically came out to be that we're only mining Bitcoin at $8,000, $9,000, whatever it might be, right? So that would be at least a nice, clear sign of where things are going. Other than that, we have to wait basically until they provide the quarterly results. Okay. Then going forward the next 12 months, we're looking at $7.82 to $11.73, with the 4 months before the halving event at 100%, and then the 8 months after the halving event at 50%. Okay. But obviously, Bitcoin goes up in value. That's going to increase as well. The analysts have them at $22. Between that and $7.50, they do also have hosting. Hosting has not been profitable for them, and they also have some the other business, which is the what is that part of it? Let's go scroll down here. Revenues, which is engineering. So they do generate some on the engineering side of things as well. That's maybe what the analysts are including in that as well. So like I say, right now my thing shows overvalued, but I think they're pretty fairly valued right now where they are. Okay. Let me know if you guys have any questions on this, comments or anything like that, if you guys are investing in them. And then we'll obviously take a look at tomorrow as far as where they placed for Q3 against all the miners along with Iris, things like that. We'll discuss all of that information going forward. Okay. So definitely, we're still, I think, early before the bull run really happens. We've had a nice run up here in the last couple of weeks with Bitcoin, the miners as well. And we may get to a point where obviously we get the news on the spot Bitcoin ETF. It might be one of those buy the rumors, sell the news events. We'll see if that happens. If that does happen, I'll continue to buy in. If the miners come down in price, it'll be just a better deal for me. because I know that after the halving event, historically, the last couple cycles that we've had of Bitcoin, price really drove up after the halving event. So that's kind of what I'm expecting this time around. Will it be different? It could be, but the chances of that are very much smaller than Bitcoin going up in value. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. So let me know what you guys think. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed it, hit the like button, subscribe. As always, helps me out. Spreadsheets are going to be available to my Patreon members, as always. And that's still $5 a month for everybody to get access to all the sheets and updates that I do for the Patreon members there. And we have a great Discord channel that's private for us to discuss all of these things here, what's going on in the markets, miners, MicroStrategy, everything. Okay, so I'll leave it at that. I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. I'll see you guys tomorrow. We'll see if there's any news as far as updates for miners. We're still missing a couple, and we'll go from there. All right, so have a great night. I'll see you then.